What's good, guys? So we are here in Lithuania. We're in Vilnius. Just got the car, drove from the airport to the city center, and I just want to give you a quick room tour, and then I'll show you around the city a little bit. So this is the hotel. This is the entrance right here. We have a little fridge. You have this very, very modern. Look at this room. Very modern. It's very rare that you're gonna find something even like this in Ukraine. Big TV. This bed may be a queen, maybe smaller, I'm not sure. But as you can see, you have a big bathroom. Look at this bathroom right here. Huge. Huge bathroom. Let's see if I can find. Oh, there you go. Look at this bathroom right here. Huge, very modern. We have the bed, TV, you have the chargers, the outlets right there, USB outlets. And then we were supposed to have the city view, and we do have the city view actually. So there's the main street, Gediminas Prospektas in Vilnius. And we're gonna show you a little bit of this really cool city that I know something about. So we're gonna go downstairs and have a little bit of a walk around in a bit. And this right here is the hotel. As you can see, very, very modern. Smack in the center. This is what the lobby looks like right here. Alright, so this is the center of Vilnius. And I know a little bit about this country. I actually lived in Vilnius for 2-3 years, some years back, and I even speak a little bit of Lithuanian. Aš galiu kalbėti Lietuva kalba. I think that's it. And so we are back. We were here 3 years ago for New Year's. I lived here before that, and we decided to come here and rent a car and drive from Vilnius to Klaipėda. Klaipėda is a city on the Baltic Sea, so it's the other side of the country, pretty much. And that's a 3-hour drive. And then we want to also drive around. There's some nice parts there. And if we still have time, we want to make it to a Russian border. There's a, it's called Kuršnerija. It's a piece of basically this piece of land. And they share it with Russia because you have Kaliningrad, and half of it belongs to Lithuania and half of it belongs to Russia. So what we want to do is we maybe want to get to the border. Obviously we're not going to cross it, but we want to just drive around there. And Lithuania is a great country, very modern. Lots to tell you guys, lots to talk about, lots to share. Especially with the fact that I was here beginning back in 2011. I lived here for 3 years, 2 to 3 years, and now I'm back. I'm a different person. I have more experience, more things to talk about. So that's what we're gonna be doing a little bit, throughout this video, throughout this tour. This is gonna be very, very interesting. But first, I need to go get myself a little SIM card for my phone, get some internet. And if you did not know, the internet here in Lithuania, it's one of the cheapest, but it's also one of the fastest in the world. It's very common to pay like almost nothing for like a home Wi-Fi and get like 200 megabit, 500 megabit, even a gigabit very, very easily. And so this right here, where we are right now, this is the main street called Gediminas Prospektas in kind of the new part of the city. Right now we are walking towards the old city. Right, so there's going to be the cathedral, and we pass that, we turn the right, and we're going to be in the old city. So we have Narvesen, which is Norwegian chain. They have it in Latvia as well. This is where you get a little water, SIM cards, stuff like that. All right, so I got my SIM card. It's 100 gigs, and it's €2.50. It's amazing, and it's going to be fast, reliable. Yeah, with the internet, this is one of the best countries for sure. All right, so this is like the main square here, okay? If you look that way, that's kind of like where the old city begins. You have this little street over there. If you look on the other side, that's where we came from. I spent a lot of time here when I was in Lithuania. They had a New Year's celebration here. When the euro was introduced, a lot of people just chilled here. You have this big Catholic cathedral. And remember, Lithuania is a Catholic country. It's not Russian Orthodox, it's not Eastern Orthodox, it's a Catholic country. So you have Beautiful buildings are all around. So right now we are going to our favorite meat place. Now, when I lived in Lithuania, I used to go to this place all the time. And when me and Marina came here 3 years ago to celebrate the New Year's, we went there as well, and it was a really good experience. It's called the Meat Lovers Pub or Meat Lovers. Really good steak, really good burgers, anything having to do with meat. And it's still open. You know, all these years that I lived here, it's still open. Now, one thing is that we didn't really expect it to be this snowy, because in Ukraine it wasn't. I mean, snow fell, it stopped, but it was never this winter-like. And here it's like true winter. But we have a car. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be exploring this country, seeing what it has to offer, and going from there. All right, so here's the menu. Here's the Meat Lovers. We got salads, snacks, main courses. I'm definitely going for the main courses, and the prices are in euros. So to translate that into dollars, multiply, add like 10%, and you're gonna get dollars. I think it's around there. Burgers, man, I feel like a burger, although I can have probably maybe a steak. We got soups. We got Lover's Burger. I think maybe the Lover's Burger. I had a burger yesterday. Or maybe pork ribs. 15 euros. I don't know. This is Marina right here. The lovely Marina. My partner in crime for the trip here to Lithuania for the exploration here. All right, so I opened my car and guess what they have? They have this little pin with which you can open the phone. That's nice. I've never seen that before. So this is our new SIM card. We have the pin. We have activate in Russian, in English, in Lithuanian as well. Everything that you want. Yeah, with internet, the Baltic countries. It's the best. All right, so we got the beers here just to get started. We're gonna be having some sausages and something else that Marina ordered because the ribs are fatty. I don't like fatty meat. I like my meat to be non-fatty. So let's see. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got our main course here. This is some kind of a German sausage with mashed potatoes. We got caramelized onions. We got some topping here. Marina did the exact same thing right here. She got the sausage, same dish. I decided to try the sausage instead of a burger. Because burgers I can order back home in Ukraine or anywhere else really, but sausages, I want to try it. I want to try it here because they say it's supposed to be really good. So we got our sausage right here, and it's got some stuff inside. And when you eat it, it's delicious. Really, really good sausage. And we got a second round of beer here. We got Marina's beer, we got my beer. The beer is really good. So Lithuania is actually known for beers. They have really good beers in this country, unlike some of the other countries. Like Ukraine is not so for beers, but here in Lithuania, really, really good beers. And this is actually, it was on tap, so even better. So definitely drinking some beers here while we're in this country. All right, so we just finished our lunch, I would say, and now we are walking towards the old town. I'm gonna show you the old town a little bit, where I spent a lot of time working out of different coffee shops, chilling, trying every single coffee shop there is, lots of different things. And we are kind of in an old town right now, but I want to show you the center of the old town, that main street. And one thing you gotta realize, guys, is that Vilnius is a relatively small city, which is something that I felt when I lived here, is that, you know, one day I just realized, like, I've been to every single coffee shop, I've tried almost every single restaurant, and, you know, it's a small city, and I grew up in a big city, right, New York City. I grew up in New York City, and so the population here in Vilnius it's 500,000, and the population of Lithuania is 3 million, around 3 million, so it's like The whole country is like the population of Kiev, less than the population of Kiev. So just to give you a perspective. So Lithuania, just like Latvia, for people living in the Soviet Union that were not from that region back in the day, historically speaking, and yes, Lithuania was part of the Soviet Union. I know some people are gonna say that it wasn't. It's not now, but it was. And so for people that lived in, Russia, Ukraine, Moldova, Lithuania, going to Lithuania was like going abroad. That's the feeling. Even though you didn't go abroad, you don't need to have a visa or anything like that. The feeling was that you went abroad, like you went to Germany. That's how different it was. And that's how different it is now. Compared to Ukraine, coming to Lithuania, it has changed a lot over the years, really, because the fact of the matter is that, it has developed, it's part of the EU. It's cleaner, it's more civilized, right? It's more civilized. It's like Europe. It is Europe, right? Now, some people might ask me or wonder, is it Eastern Europe or is it Northern Europe? In my opinion, Estonia would be considered Northern Europe. Lithuania, in my opinion, is Eastern Europe, okay? Northeastern Europe, or even, it's still kind of Eastern Europe. That is just my opinion. Now, what's interesting about this whole town, especially the part where we are now, where there's not a lot of shops, not a lot of people, is that it reminds me a little bit of Riga's old town. Very similar. And it also reminds me a bit of a city in Ukraine called Lviv, which is a western city in the western part of Ukraine. Of course, Lviv is not as clean, as organized. It's not there yet. But if they could put some money into it, renovate some of the buildings, fix it up a little bit, it's gonna look a lot better. But hopefully, we will see if that's gonna happen. Hopefully it will happen in the future. Alright guys, so this is the main street in the old town. It's called Pilies Gatve. Gatve is the street. That restaurant you see, Dvaras, it's this, very, very typical traditional Lithuanian food. They serve cepalinas over there, which is like a Lithuanian dish. This is a main street right here. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you where I stayed the first time I came to Lithuania back in 2011. I stayed in like a kind of like a mom and pop guest house, and I'm gonna show you where it is so that you can see for yourself. Like almost or more than 10 years ago when I first came here, and then I moved here a couple of years later and lived actually here. So I still remember the name of the street. It's called Bernardinų Gatve. So if we come in here, hopefully they still have this guest house. And you might be asking, well, how did I find this guest house? Well, I was living in Denmark at the time, and I met a Lithuanian guy, and he just recommended it to me. Back in 2011, this specific guest house. And the beautiful thing is that it's right in the center. So it's really, really good from that perspective. We're gonna come closer and see if it's still there. And here you have Russian writing. It says "Собаки это последние ангелы." It means dogs are the last angels, which is very interesting. And so the thing here with the Russian language, the rule is simple. Over 35, over 30, if they were born in Vilnius, they probably speak some Russian. If they're younger, it gets a little bit tricky, okay? But throughout most of Lithuania, if a person is over 40, they speak Russian. But in Vilnius, the young people even speak Russian, because when they were young, when they were growing up, they probably hanged around, on the playground, stuff like that, with other Russian-speaking people. So as a result, even some of the young people, I'm talking about like 20s, they speak Russian. But that's not the case outside. So if you meet somebody who is from a village and they're young, right? They're maybe 30 years old. They're not going to speak Russian from a village. But if they're from Vilnius, 30s, they're gonna probably speak some Russian, at least know a little bit. So actually here in Google Maps, I even have a little mark here, a little bookmark. It says 5 Bernardinų, and I saved it because it's a guest house. Here we have Bernardinų B&B house. This is a place I stayed at So it looks like we're facing it right now. That could be it right here somewhere. Let's take a look. There it is, B&B house. So this right here, this was my first trip to Vilnius back in 2011. Okay, this is where I stayed. Bernardino Gatve 5 B&B. All right, so I'm glad it's still here. So here we have Etno Dvaras, which is kind of this traditional Lithuanian restaurant, right? You have Lithuanian dishes. This is where all the tourists go. I guess, I don't know if the locals come here, probably even the locals come here as well. But very touristy restaurant. We stopped by this place here. We got this thing right here, and this is amazing. This is chocolate with cookies. I really love that. It's known by different names. Some people call it like a sausage, like a chocolate sausage. Sometimes it comes like as a sausage form. You just cut it up and you have the slices. This is a really great delicacy. Plus we have a little bit of cream. We got some teas here, just the basics, and a little bit of people watching. All right, so I'm trying this thing. This is absolutely amazing. Really good. You guys gotta try it if you're gonna be in this region. This is very unique, and not every place has it. But it's very traditional Eastern European pastry, you would call it, kind of a sweet thing. Really good. Картели? Галima su картели? Правильно я говорю?
Правильно.
Правильно. Спасибо большое. All right, so we finished our coffee at this place where we were actually 3 years ago, me and Marina. And I was there many times before that, just working. And so one thing I want to say, and I'm going to be telling you a lot of things about Lithuania over the course of this video. But one thing I want to say is that when I initially came to Lithuania 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I was like, okay, Lithuania is a cool country. And then I went back to Ukraine, right? Because I was born there, but I didn't grow up there. And I went back and I was like, okay, Ukraine, it's a cool country. But Lithuania was a little bit, it was more advanced. But now as the years have gone by, we're talking about 10 years, 5, 7, 8, 10 years plus. Lithuania is on another level, really. It's just much cleaner. It has advanced a lot. In the past 10 years, it has progressed a lot. And so just because I've been coming back here, I've lived here, so I have a frame of reference. And coming here feels like a real vacation. That's what I'm trying to say. Me and Marina, we don't want to go that far, and we have a lot of low-cost airlines operating in Kiev from a regional airport, not the main airport, the second one. And so it's very easy to get there. It's not very far, and as a result, we can take a flight for very cheap to a bunch of different countries. And one of them was, Lithuania. And I was like, let's go to Lithuania, because Lithuania at this point is like coming into civilization as compared to Ukraine. Ukraine, has a lot of things to work on. There's a lot of, issues. And I think it's going to be okay in the long run. But right now in Lithuania, you feel like you're in a real vacation. So you feel like you're in Europe, like in real actual Europe, I would even say. Because Eastern Europe, for me, it's not like Europe. It is Europe, right? Technically speaking, but it's different. Whereas Lithuania is real Europe for me, as far as I'm concerned. And so it's great to come here on vacation. It's great to enjoy it, have some good food. We rented a car. We're gonna be just covering the entire country, back and forth, doing a lot of things. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it feels like a real vacation. And 10 years ago, I would never have done something like this, because why go from one Eastern European country to another? But now it's like, it's a vacation. We feel great, we're relaxing, it's beautiful. There's no cars on sidewalks. In Ukraine, all of this would be full of cars, right? it feels different. And as a result, it feels great. It feels like a real vacation, even though it's going to be a relatively short trip. And in front of me is the police car. It looks like they have an Audi. Wow, I had no idea. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. And there's our hotel, Novotel. This is where we're staying. It's only like 50 bucks, 55 bucks a night. And this is like kind of the center of the city, because if you walk that way, it's exactly, or almost exactly the same distance as that way. And when I used to live here, I lived in a different part of Vilnius. I lived like in that area back there. And so I would take the bus, go along this street and stop around here. The bus would stop like right there. And then I would, sit at some coffee shop on this Gediminas Prospektas. And I used to pass by this hotel all the time. And who would have guessed that, like 10 years later, I would be staying in this hotel. It's crazy. And now that the snow has stopped a little bit, we can kind of walk around and enjoy ourselves, because when we got in, it was just snowing hard. It was like real winter. And now it's like 2 degrees Celsius, so it's actually melting right now. And as a result, we can enjoy ourselves, let's put it. So the weather is pretty similar to Kiev, which is good. Alright, got my charging set up right here. Everything is charging. This little bad boy is waiting in line. It's gonna get charged up too. And this bed, this hotel is so modern. What I really like is, first of all, they got these USB chargers here. Then they got these lights you can turn off lying in bed. And I really like this thing right here. This thing to put your stuff in here. Really cool. It has a little light. Really, really awesome hotel. Alright, so it is 7:57 p.m. We are going for dinner with an old friend of mine, actually, that I known from back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while, and so it's gonna be good to meet up. He's a local, and we used to train jiu-jitsu together back in when I used to live here. So we still kept in touch, and I told him that we are coming, and he's like, all right, booked a table for us at a good restaurant. And so we're gonna get a bite to eat, chill, relax for a minute, and just enjoy the evening. And this is what the nighttime Vilnius looks like. And today is a Saturday, so this is Saturday night. Typically when people are going out. It's the middle of the winter, of course. It's 0 degrees right now, Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And so you see a lot of people inside, right? There's Brussels mussels. There's a lot of people sitting inside. Obviously not a lot of people outside. And so we're gonna see what the restaurant is like. And so what's interesting about this restaurant is that I told him, listen, you pick the restaurant. And he ended up picking the restaurant I used to go to 10 years ago. And so it's been 10 years and the restaurant is still in business. And it's actually one of my favorite restaurants. It's like a kind of an Asian fusion place. They have Indian food, they have some Chinese food, they have some, like standard kind of regular food. But I used to go there like 9 years ago, probably, right? 8 years ago when I was here. So I was surprised that he actually picked this place. I told him, listen, I used to go here back in the day. And he's like, oh, wow, all right. So we're gonna see what it's like and see, if the food is still good. All right, so it's 11 o'clock and we just finished our dinner and we are going back to the hotel. It's crazy. It's like this wet snow, kind of rain, kind of snow that's raining down on us. And we got to get to bed because we have a long drive tomorrow exploring Lithuania. So we want to get up early, do a little bit of exploration. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. Let's see. But Lithuania and Vilnius is pumping. People are out, going to clubs, restaurants. Things are happening. Lithuania is living it up. So check this out. It's happening. There's a bar over there. People are out. There's some people in front of us, and it's like 0 degrees or even minus. There's a little, whatever that thing is, little motorized vehicle. We have people everywhere. It's really happening. Well, it's a Saturday night, but it's cold, but still people are out partying, enjoying themselves. Look at that. Pretty crazy.